Hello, everyone. I never thought I'd get to this point, asking strangers for advice on the internet. But here I am. My wife and I have been together for 10 years and married for 8. We met in college and were each other's first and only. I honestly thought we had a unique and wonderful relationship for this reason, but it seemed like I was the only one who thought so. Some time ago, my wife, Emily, started working for a new company. At first, it was difficult for her to fit into the team because she had always been shy. But after my persuasion, she became friends with a group of unmarried girls from work. At first, I was happy that Emily had found friends, but then she started going out drinking and hanging out with these friends more and more often. I became concerned about the change in her behavior and tried to talk to her about it, but at the same time, I did not want to limit her in any way. This began to affect our relationship in bed. Emily had never taken the initiative in intimacy, but with her constant antics, she became either too tired or not in the mood. At some point, a new manager, Jason, came to their company, who apparently both she and her friends really liked. She started mentioning him in passing, but it got to the point where she started talking about how he solves various problems, and not always work-related ones. I asked her what caused her such admiration for this man, but she brushed off my questions. She also started asking if I regretted not having had experience with other women. I answered that no, because I always had enough of her alone. I swear I saw a hint of sadness in her eyes for a moment, but she quickly changed the subject. She started talking about open marriage as a way to shake up our relationship. I was shocked because it didn't look like my Emily. At first, I flatly refused and asked if it had something to do with Jason. She denied it, but said she felt like she'd missed out on a lot and didn't want to lose me, and that it was a safe option. I warned her that she was playing with fire, but in the end, reluctantly and out of naivety, I agreed. We set a few rules, the main one being not to bring other people into our home. So for 1 year, Emily went on dates and had casual relationships. And as if I didn't expect such a turn, I ended up dating that same Jason. For my part, I went on several dates, but without one-night stands because it seemed wrong to me. Emily periodically asked if I was okay, but did not change her behavior. At some point, I felt that my love for her, that pure and innocent one, was gone, and it destroyed me from the inside. I ended up going on a date with an amazing girl, Sophie, who moved from South Korea. Communication was easy, she was witty, and her smile made me forget everything. Of course, this turned into another date, and then we slept together. Honestly, I have never had such intimacy as with her. I didn't know a woman could be so attentive and make me feel wanted. At first, Emily thought it was cute, but as the months passed, she began to find out what was going on with my mistress. I immediately pointed out to her that it was her idea, and reminded her that she herself was in a relationship with the very Jason I was worried about. She remained silent. It seemed that she had something to say, but she did not dare. She started coming home earlier to cook me dinner and clean the house. She began to come to my work with lunch and began to take the initiative in bed. Honestly, if it weren't for her idea of an open marriage, in which it was also my fault that I agreed, all this would have made me jump for joy. But I hardly succumbed to her attempts at intimacy, and when he did give in, he did it backhand. Something in me had died in relation to Emily, and I could see that she felt it too. I asked why there were such changes and what had changed. She replied that she wanted to show me how much she loved me and that she was happy with our family life. But, holding back my laughter, I began to laugh. I asked what about her boyfriends, her lover Jason, and all her casual relationships. She didn't answer and just went to bed crying that day. The next day, when I returned home, she was waiting for me. She said she wanted to end the marriage, that this whole experience was a terrible mistake, that she regretted everything and wanted us to focus on our relationship again. I told her that she needed to be honest with me and tell me what made her make this decision in the first place. And, as one would expect, it was her group of friends who advised her to do all this, because of their many adventures. And when Jason appeared, to her surprise, he supported this lifestyle. Apparently, everything developed into an emotional affair and into a physical stage. After our marriage became open. Well, yes, as if this makes it easier. She described it as a state of drunken stupor behind the wheel of a speeding car. Exciting and exciting. She now realizes that she didn't need to compare, that what we had was truly unique and special, but now she feels that she has ruined our marriage and any chance of a life together. I told her that I might never be able to see her as my wife again, and she burst into tears. I just held her silently while she cried, and so she fell asleep in my arms on the sofa. Since then, she quit her job, broke off all contacts with her friends and Jason, and even stated that she was ready to spend the rest of her life to atone for her guilt in front of me, just to become a real wife for me again. But I have not yet broken off contact with my mistress. With my Sophie, to be honest, I feel like a man, like I can move mountains, and my wife hasn't given me such a feeling for a long time. To tell the truth, I don't know what to do in this situation. I would like to return that special feeling if at all possible, but my lover literally saved me when I was at my lowest. Please help me. Oh yes, I almost forgot. We will have our first family counseling in a few hours today. I don't know how everything will go. Changed? I didn't expect such a response. Thank you all for your support and advice. I will definitely write an update about our psychotherapy session, but for now I will answer a few questions. First, my mistress is not married, but she knows about our open marriage. Second, my intentions regarding this marriage are not yet clear, mainly because as much as I love Emily, I cannot trust her. But at the same time, I can't just up and throw everything away because of our years together. And that's why I agreed to family therapy, to see if I could come to some kind of healthy decision and get out of this state of uncertainty. And third, I never demanded to see my wife's phone because I didn't want to see a real photo of Emily with another man. The mental pictures I imagined were enough for me, but a real photo or something like that would destroy me even more. I completely forgot to mention. This morning, when I got out of the shower, I saw Emily holding my phone and silently shaking as she read the incoming message. I just took the phone from her and didn't say anything. The message was from my lover, Sophie. Good morning, handsome. I slept in your t-shirt last night because I missed the times when we went to bed and woke up together. I miss your kisses in the morning. This seems to have had a very strong effect on her because she has been following me around ever since. Even when I went for a run, she went too. During the entire time of our relationship, she never ran with me. Sophie and I met the evening Emily was on her next date. I was leaving the bookstore, and there I was spending the evenings when this whole topic began. My then future mistress was pursued by a short, strong man who was yelling at her. When he grabbed her hand and roughly turned her around, I mechanically intervened. I do judo, although nothing special. I couldn't hold him down and accidentally sprained his wrist. It turned out that she got him fired for harassment, and he was very angry. After that, she insisted on buying me coffee as a token of gratitude, and I agreed. As for her reaction to an open marriage, she was hesitant at first. She didn't want to be a homewrecker, but when she found out about my wife's actions, she threw caution to the wind. I have two versions of the story that I will tell my grandchildren. I saved your grandmother from a villain, and she fell into my arms. Your grandmother once took a year off to try out a bunch of guys, and I, her husband, was kind of okay with it. So, I suggest writing right now in the comments what you would advise the author, and we move on to the update. Update 1. The psychologist seemed pleasant and experienced to me. She seemed open-minded and really willing to help. Even though this was our first session, Emily took the opportunity to get the whole story out there. She admitted that the company of her friends made her wonder if she had missed something in life. After all, she married her first guy and had no other experience, did not live like some amazing women from her environment. Let me remind you, not for the better, some of them are divorced and none are married. The therapist pointed out that this often has a destructive effect on a marriage. Emily seemed to agree and then added that since the new manager, Jason, some of her friends had been nagging her to find out what would happen. They say this is a chance to explore yourself and get to know yourself. Emily, according to her, felt guilty, so she did not dare to have a relationship with him. But one of the divorcees suggested to her the idea of an open marriage as a loophole and said that some couples even become stronger after this. Therefore, she persuaded me to open the marriage and embarked on this whole adventure. It was intoxicating but had no real meaning. Then she began to question her motives. She said that she saw my pain in my eyes but convinced herself that it was just an adventure. She added that she would never forgive herself for this. She wanted to have a new, incredible experience. Therefore, the scale of what had happened did not dawn on her until she saw the changes in me. At first, she thought that since I also started going on dates, I would gradually come to terms with our situation and everything would be fine. But everything changed when my mistress became a permanent participant in my adventure. Apparently, I started smiling for no reason again. My eyes lit up when I received a message. I left the room happily to answer the call. She says she suddenly felt like she had been punched in the gut and began having panic attacks. For no particular reason, she went to her friends for advice, but they replied that this was a normal reaction of a husband in such an adventure. And when the same divorcee who advised her all this said, "It seems that his mistress makes him happy," that's when the realization hit her. Suddenly the thoughts became real that another woman, not she, gives me joy. This made her feel sick, to the point of fainting. She realized how absurd it all was and begged them to help her get me back. But they simply said, "If it's hard for you, then why did you even offer to open the marriage?" She then realized that these women were toxic and a threat to our marriage and our entire lives. That's why she rushed with all her might to bring me back. For my part, I didn't say too much, but I told the psychologist that I still had a mistress. The therapist said that we would not find any solution while our mistress was looming on the horizon, and suggested that we sign up for another session the day after tomorrow. The psychologist also added that rarely does anyone stay with their first partner for so long, and she had the impression that any difficulties could be overcome. I have a suspicion that she wants to make a successful case out of us. Changed. What do I mean when I say that my lover makes me feel like a man? When I'm having a hard day, I'm not greeted with cold indifference but with a warm hug, and she is ready to listen to me carefully. When I have complexes, she convinces me that nothing is unattainable. And most importantly, and this may sound sexist, for which I apologize, it gives me the opportunity to be the man in a relationship. That is, Sophie believes that women are meant to do what men cannot. Again, I think it's part of her culture. She is sure that men are not as caring and compassionate as women, and therefore, in her opinion, a soft heart can pacify a raging volcano. Some Korean proverb. She believes that she should steer in the bedroom and make intimacy intense, but never humiliate me or invade other areas where I need space. He believes that men have much fewer needs than women, and if they are satisfied, a man will move mountains for a woman. It should be added that she advocates equal pay and mutual respect, but not the extremes that are common in modern society. As I said, this may seem like sexism, but most likely this is how the difference between Eastern and Western cultures manifests itself. Update 2. I moved into an apartment that belongs to my brother. He rents it to me for a ridiculous price. My brother was ready to let me live for free, but I refused. Now a little about what I found out about Emily's behavior and some unpleasant things about her manager. In my second counseling session, I asked some of the questions you advised me to ask. First, I asked if she was sure that before the opening of the marriage, she definitely did not have physical intimacy. She lowered her gaze and begged not to force her to say it, because as soon as she said it, everything would collapse. But I insisted, and she admitted that there was no direct contact, but they made themselves feel good in front of each other. Jason convinced her that since this was not full-fledged intimacy, then technically it was not cheating. Like, they just enjoyed each other's beauty. I was shocked. And Emily began to tremble and breathe heavily. Snot started running out of her nose as she sobbed and asked me for forgiveness. Here, even the psychologist looked dumbfounded. She had disbelief written all over her face. Emily knelt down and grabbed my legs, begging me to forgive her. Second, then I asked what exactly changed her attitude towards Jason. She said that after she started to distance herself from this whole group of friends, he also began to behave differently towards her. And then one day, when she was leaving a meeting, passing by his office, she heard him talking about her with another colleague. He said that he was surprised how easily he was able to hook her up, and that she was clear evidence that there are still devils in still waters. When a coworker asked if he really liked her, Jason replied that she was just fun and that he wasn't even thinking about leaving his fiancée. He added that this is just a way to unwind because the only woman who truly understands him is his fiancée, and he is not going to break up with her. He also said that he felt sorry for me, but as they say, strike while the iron is hot. My wife realized that she was just a piece of meat to him. Plus, she betrayed me for the sake of a cheap thrill. According to her, if she had not committed the irreparable, then... She said she left the office, ran to the parking lot, and threw up. Then she added that her first thought was, "What have I done? Please forgive me. I'm so guilty." Then I asked if she loved him, and at what point she stopped loving me. She looked me straight in the eyes through her tears and said that she never stopped loving me. And to be honest, this only made me feel worse. Said he was just something others. She thought that this was love, but now she realized how stupid it was. She squeezed my hand with unexpected strength and said that she understood how much she had screwed up, but she missed us, and according to what happened before all this, she offered to go somewhere and start everything from scratch. Just the two of us, as was originally planned. I replied that it would not be fair to my mistress, that I needed time away from her, from Emily, to digest all this. Emily seems to have had a breakdown. She started crying even harder, started saying incoherent things, and hugged me as if I was going to disappear. It took a long time before the psychologist and I calmed her down. The psychologist supported me, saying that perhaps living apart could help us all come to our senses. It's a shame the story didn't end there. Returning home, I started getting ready. And at that moment, Emily's video chat rang on her laptop. One of her ex-girlfriends called in tears. It turned out that after Emily left work, this friend herself started an affair with Jason. But she had a delay, and he responded by going crazy. The fact is that this colleague had a boyfriend with whom she apparently saw a future. And I started an affair with the manager out of curiosity. It's interesting what the trend is. The guy found out about everything because he discovered their correspondence about the pregnancy, where Jason accused her of wanting to entangle him through the child. The guy, of course, left her, and she, in desperation, called Emily because she thought she had saved our marriage and wanted to ask for advice. I turned around and left. Since then, I have been living in my brother's apartment. Thanks again, everyone, for the advice. Update 3. First of all, I thank everyone who took the time to write and share good advice, similar life stories, or simply offered to listen. This is very valuable to me. Well, quite a lot has happened already. Emily's ex-friend who had a false alarm turned out to be pregnant, but due to the stress, she also lost her boyfriend and suffered public humiliation because of the affair. She had a miscarriage. She literally went wild and decided to take revenge on the manager. I took all the evidence to my superiors and reported Jason. I wondered who his fiancée was and found her on Facebook. She appears to be a small-town girl, pretty, and a teacher of special needs children. Loves home, family, and all that. My first thought, why did he even need to run to the left when he has such a girlfriend? To be honest, it is not clear why people like him marry people like her. One of the biggest mysteries of life. This ex-girlfriend contacted me. She wanted my version of events because she was gathering evidence against the manager and wanted to discuss it in person. As soon as I saw her face, I realized that the person was broken. Dark circles under her eyes, reddened whites. It is clear that she is not sleeping and is haunted by heavy thoughts. She thanked me for agreeing to meet and immediately apologized for her role in Emily's adventure. It turned out that she had been talking to Emily and found out that I had moved. She didn't try to put the blame on someone else and wanted to take responsibility herself. That's why she asked for a meeting. I thanked her for her sincerity, but asked why she was willing to make such sacrifices. She said losing her child and her loved one changed her completely. According to her, she cannot look in the mirror without feeling disgusted with herself and cannot sleep because the face of her ex is constantly in front of her eyes. At the moment when he found out everything. Overall, she clearly hates herself, and meeting me apparently was a kind of punishment for her. She said that since relations between employees were a violation of the charter and the manager was in a management position, he would most likely be fired and possibly blacklisted from this area of activity as a whole. But it may also have consequences, and she came to terms with it. After I told her my side of the story, she apologized again and left. I needed to pick up some things from the old house, and I chose a time when I thought Emily wouldn't be there. But unfortunately, she was at home. I was surprised that she laid out almost all of our wedding photos and other snapshots on the coffee table. When she noticed me, I saw that she was crying. She tried to hug me, but I gently pulled away. She offered me lunch, but I said that I wasn't hungry and that I wouldn't stay long. I just needed to pick up something. She said she wanted to show me something. She took out her phone and showed me the message she received 2 days ago from her former manager. He swore at her. This was his new number since she had blocked the old one. It turns out that Emily helped that same friend bring Jason to light, and he was furious. Emily said that she and her friend decided that exposing the secret would give us a chance to save the marriage. I replied that I was glad for her courage, but it did not change anything in what was happening between us. And he added that I was stopping family therapy and wanted to work individually. Emily cried quietly and said that she understood. It seems to me that I should have felt some kind of joy from her actions. Or, on the contrary, anger that she did it so late. But I don't feel anything for her. Some kind of numbness. I understand that this is not normal, and therefore I want to deal with this in individual therapy and not in family therapy. On my brother's advice, I already went to see a divorce lawyer just to be prepared for any developments. I'm not eager to fight for this marriage right now, and Emily seems to sense it. Before leaving, she tried to take the initiative to be intimate again. And when I refused, she started screaming, asking, "What does your mistress give you that I cannot give you? How is she better than me?" And loudly, so that the neighbors probably heard, she declared that she was ready to do whatever I wanted. I shook my head and replied, "If you still don't understand after everything that happened, then everything is clear to me." And he left. Once again, thank you everyone for your help. Well, thank you for watching this video to the end. Write your opinion in the comments on this story. In my opinion, there is further evidence that open marriages in the overwhelming majority end in failure. Do you agree with me? Subscribe to our channel, watch our previous videos, which you will see here, and good luck to you.